As mentioned already, today you have myself and Andy as hosts from the UK. Andy, as I said, in the background, and will answer any questions that you have on the presentation. And you've got me to listen to for today, so you should feel pretty blessed. Right? I can't hear anybody laughing. I hope that was a funny joke. My daughter would have said that was a dad joke. Right, so let's take a look at and understand how technology has evolved over the years. Right, and this is so important when considering what the ECM market is doing and what technology in general is doing for our customers. And technology was on a slow increase, but if we take a look at data, how data has expanded, and there's so many theories out there and so many studies about where do we see data and total data expanding to in the next even 2 years, even 3 years. The same exact thing can be said about technology. The moment that software came into play, and when computers became powerful enough to manage data, the rest of technology just simply went out of control. I mean, today we've got cars that can drive themselves. Imagine what tomorrow brings. And the Walkman, or the portable music concept, was something that was revolutionary, right? And now we're talking about 80s and 90s, when we were listening to tape deck Walkmans. And that very quickly evolved into something like the iPad, where I now can have hundreds of thousands of songs, and now with new technology, even millions of songs in my back pocket. And if we really consider what technology has now brought, it is now literally a computer in my back pocket that runs applications, in some cases powerful enough, even massive spreadsheets. Now, if I can do that kind of processing on such a small device, what else now is possible with cloud? And we need to consider that because of this mobility, people have the need to work remotely. They have that absolute desire to be able to process things on the go, to have access to information immediately. Now, if I take myself as an example, my mobile phone is truly an extension of my personal computer. I process information on it constantly. And I'm not only referring to emails, right? I even do my expense claims on the go through the DocuWare mobile app. I open up spreadsheets and I do calculations. I can now even do an entire proposal for a customer right on my mobile phone while I'm on the train. I need to be able to give people that kind of access and that kind of control over their content, not only documents, all of their content, to really make it powerful, to really make it fit in today, but more important, making it ready for the evolution of technology. So whether I'm in the office, whether I'm on the road, whether I'm traveling into another country, or wherever I am, I need to be able to process my information. And of course, when we talk about processing information, there's other things that is incredibly important to understand. People process information for a reason. And this is related to any type of business process within the organization. They process information, and it is difficult to process it because there's lots of data. We already spoke about data that is expanding, and it is becoming more and more and more, and it is becoming really difficult for people to get a handle on it. So it's difficult to manage, right? People are therefore stretched to do more. There's more demands on their time. And the more that I'm processing information in a manual way, the demand on my time becomes even more. Then I'm considering things like security, whether that is enough, whether the tools that I'm using is frustrating and complex, or is it easy to use? And that is most probably the most important part of smart document control. If I don't have a simple, intuitive, and future-ready tool from a technology perspective, it makes really no sense, right? It's got to evolve with me, firstly, and it's got to be easy to use. And that is what we want to bring to our attention today, is what is the tools that we have? Are they easy to use? and how quickly and effectively can I really process the information. Right. Now, for that reason, we've got one of our pre-configured solution, Smart Document Control. And for the customers on the call that has seen any DocuWare demos, you will understand why it is so powerful to seamlessly process information. For our partners on the call, you'll understand how powerful these solutions are to show our customers firsthand in the first meeting, this is the power that you can get from using DocuWare even as a pre-configured solution. But it gives us that framework to build on, where we can now plug in more powerful workflows and automation into the solution. So we're talking about ready-to-use solutions with simple access and permissions, not complex. The moment that people start talking about permissions and access rights, then it becomes challenging, right? I need a versatile tool, I've mentioned already, and it needs to be easy for me to edit and process my documents. And it needs to be able to process any type of documents, including contracts, proposals, invoices, purchase orders, statements. And I need to be able to easily find the information that I'm looking for, of course, all with the highest level of security available within the DocuWare cloud. So what are people talking about now? They're talking about paperless and going green. There's a lot of us that say going green, you know, that's just the politicians that's talking about it. Some organizations, and most organizations on the world, has got that absolute drive of going green. But the fact that I'm going paperless offers so much more than just going green, because that gives me the ability to start automating processes because the information is electronic. So my first step is to digitize the information and make it electronic so that I can then process more effectively. Of course, with the additional benefit of saving a lot of trees and reducing CO2 emissions. I want to protect my content and my data. Everybody is talking about it, right? There's so many hacks going on and people accessing content that they're not supposed to. And of course, then things like protection of personal information like GDPR and other acts around the world that is forcing us to protect the information, especially if there's information about personal individuals on the content, right? So I need to be compliance ready, and then absolutely I need to be flexible. I need to be able to work wherever I am and access information from anywhere. Right, so Smart Document Control is all about consolidating all of this information, whether that be a scanned document, a Word or Excel file that I'm busy working on that I need to collaborate on and do version control on and have multiple people working on the document at the same time. And we are really now talking about all of my business content. Now, the concept of it is quite simple. I don't care where it comes from. Is it an electronic document that I'm working on in my office environment, like a Word document, Excel document? It might be a standard operating procedure that needs to be reviewed from time to time. It might be an email that I've received or an email that I'm sending, in fact. It could be a mobile device. Where I'm capturing information on a mobile device, or it could be a web form that I'm filling in, or it could be something that I need to scan that I've received physically. With DocuWare, we do not care what that source is. We will digitize that document, apply optical character recognition to it, and then decide what index criteria I need to fetch off that page. Of course, I can now push these through workflows. And what Smart Document Control is offering us is the ability for simple yet powerful workflows, which means that I can distribute documents to multiple places, simply assign it to people to process, or getting people to add their comments or an approval of that specific document, and even push that into an electronic signature workflow for digital signing of the document, even by somebody outside of the organization. All obviously organized and sorted very neatly and clearly, and very, very simple to find with even my mobile tools while I'm on the move. Right, so mentioned those already: automated processes, seamless collaboration, flexible and organized. So when we're talking about data, and those that have engaged with data mining companies or BI companies or data intelligence companies, always hear the term crap in, crap out. I've now made it nicer for the reporting. If I don't have clean data and I don't have structured data, then it's very difficult to work with it. So we've got, firstly, we are capturing content in a structured and organized way and making it very, very quick for retrieval and capture. I want to trace, collaborate, and do version management on those documents. I want to know who interacted on the documents, and I want to make sure that people only have access to what they need to have access to. I want to set things like alarms for contracts management. I want to know when a contract needs to be renewed. I want to know when I need to update a standard operating procedure, or I need to know when I'm supposed to reply to a proposal. A simple thing as capturing a proposal, sending it out to a customer, and notifying me to follow up in 3 days. All of these kind of actions, very, very simple to accomplish. All possible with electronic signatures right through the system, and of course, access control and secure archiving, as well as retention management within the system of those documents. And now we'll jump straight into the product. I see there's already one question. Please don't hesitate and let the questions flow. All right. So this is the DocuWare front end, assuming that there's 1 or 2 people on the call that have not seen it before. Let's do a quick refresher for those who have, and a quick understanding of what we are looking at for those that is joining us for the first time. The DocuWare front end currently open in Google Chrome, but of course it works in any web browser, right? Any modern web browser, I can open it up. And of course, then also the ability to use our mobile application with it. Now you can see at the bottom that I've got a couple of Google Chrome tabs open because I'm open in different users. And as I continue with this demonstration, I might switch to different users to show you what the impact for that user would be. Here on top, I've got these 5 function buttons. In fact, DocuWare has a maximum of 6 function buttons. I could have a forms button there as well for forms-based processing. And I welcome you to join our future webinars or look on YouTube at some of our forms applications that is incredibly powerful. And those 6 main function buttons, in this example 5, is the only main guiding area. So it's very, very simple for the users to navigate. I can quickly see, I'm currently logged in as myself, as David Malan, and I can see that there's 2 documents available in my lists that I should focus on, and I can see that it was documents that were shared with me. I can also access other lists, so I can see maybe a recycle bin. I can see that there's 2 documents sitting in status of assignments, and I can see there's 1 document that I need to action within the next 30 days. Looks like I've been pretty good with my work because I've got nothing due today or that is actually overdue, which is completely out of the ordinary for a salesman, I might add. So very simple to navigate, very simple to understand, and of course I will explain the rest of the web client as I go through the demonstration. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to capture some documents. So I click on the document tray on the top left, and I currently have 4 documents within this tray. Now, the way that these documents came in, if we remember the slide that I showed a little while ago, and in fact, I like to refer back to information. If I take a look at this slide again, I can really have captured this information from anywhere. Could have been scanned on a scanner, could have come in from my mailbox, manned or unmanned mailbox, or it could have been a document that I simply drag and dropped into the tray. I've already got these 4 documents, and I can see the name of these documents quite basically, but they are not captured into my system yet, right? We're going to capture them just now, once we understand a little bit more what's going on in here. Now, as David, I can search for documents, and I've got this search area for project documents open here, right? And I've got some fields or index fields that is possible for me to search on. So in fact, I can do a full text search to find any word or content related to any document within the system. Could even be a sentence or a phrase that I'm looking for. And then, of course, I can filter by document type. But just quickly, I'm just going to hit the search button without actually searching for anything to see what the results is. So basically, I am now asking DocuWare to display all of the documents to me that I have access to, right? There might be significantly more documents within the file cabinet. And I can see an agreement, a proposal, a contract, and a letter. And I can also see these different document types. That's an email with an attachment. That's multiple documents clipped together, a PDF and an email. If, however, I go to this next browser that I've got open, here I'm logged in as this gentleman called Fred Winner. And if I go to his search area and do a blind search, Fred has got 5 documents that he's got access to. He's also got this contract, which is a Word document that he's got access to within the system. So I can immediately see that the permissions was applied to even what I can find in exactly the same file cabinet. So keep in mind that if I have a file cabinet in the office, the only way to restrict that is to lock it. But if I lock it, then nobody has access to any content within this file cabinet. Within DocuWare, I can even make specific documents available to specific users, and I can even apply permissions in the system to things like reading, editing, exporting from the system. So I can have specific permissions also on this document set. So let's go back to David and capture some documents so that we see what happens. I'm going to go back to my document tray, and here I have got a proposal. So this is a sample proposal. I can see that it's going to the company Flying Tom. I've got an address there. I've got a main contact and so forth. I want to store this document. Now, of course, I want to make it as simple as possible for the user to achieve. And on the left-hand side, I now have my index criteria that I want to potentially fetch off this page. So what is the important criteria? Not only for finding the document again, but also for important information to maybe use through workflow or approval processes. And when we start talking about invoices, I want the total, I want GL codes. So what is important for this document? And this is what we have defined as important for a general set of documents within the organization. Of course, completely customizable. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this drop-down box for document type, and you can see that I've got a predefined list of document types. Of course, completely customizable, but in my organization, these are the document types that we capture on a daily basis, so that we kind of force users to follow a set structure. So this, of course, a proposal. I've got a subtype here as well, which is also defined for me based on the document type. This is a customer proposal. And for the rest of the information, I don't know, I want to go select and type information. I simply click on the data on the left-hand side, Thomas Rain, and the email address to very easily capture this information. If it was an email, I could add a subject, or I can even add a subject to any document. So let's say that is the proposal terms, and I also want to select the project code. Right? I want to select the document date right there on top, very easy for me. And now I can even do we have an action date here? Is there a certain date and time that we need to action this document, right? I don't need to complete this information, but it gives me the extra flexibility to add that date for future follow-up. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 30th of this month as the action date. I can even now write the email message to people I assigned this document to, so that document can notify them by email that there's a new document that is assigned to them. And for that, I can fill in read permissions and edit permissions, should I want to. If I don't fill in any of this, the system would revert back to the default of assigning the document only to myself. Now, when I take a look at read permissions, I can assign it to groups of users or to specific individuals. I'm going to go ahead and assign this document to Fred Winner. Right? And in edit permissions, I'm also going to add, now I lost him, there he is, Peter Saunders, which is another individual that I've logged in. So basically in this example, I've given Peter additional access to this document. I'm going to go ahead and store this document. And for a quick look, if I go to Peter, I do a search. I'm searching for a proposal. I just quickly start typing. It is a customer proposal. Of course, it's already enough information for me to find this document, but I'm going to go ahead and filter further and say that I'm looking for a document from Flying Tom. So my search is now going to return all of the proposals in the system for customers where the company name is Flying Tom. And I can see that it returns 2 documents for me. One clip document from before with different contact details, and then this new document that I have received. I can see I'm now logged in as Peter. If I right click on this document, that I have the right to edit this document. And if I access exactly the same document as Fred, a proposal of the type customer, and the company name is Flying Tom, very easy to filter and find, search, there's my document, and the right to edit on this person has been restricted. as you can see when I try to do it, you do not have the rights to edit this document. Now that's all great. I can search for the documents, but I also want a more structured way to view all of my content, right? And I'd like to view it in a folder structure. And as DocuWare, we are very clear. We do not promote folder structures, but we believe there's still a very strong use case for them within the business world. So if I click on the folder structure, I can see that I've got multiple folder structures created for me. I've got folder structures by company and contact. I've got a folder structure for company and document type, and so forth, right? So if I take a look at the folder structure for projects maybe, and I take a look at the folder structure for company and document type, I can see in the company and document type one, I've got a Flying Tom folder. I've got some other folders, of course, as well. I can immediately see that I've got content in 4 different categories for this specific customer: proposals, letters, contracts, and agreements. If I go to proposal and customer, I find the exact proposal that I'm looking for right on top there. If however in project, I'm viewing exactly the same content just in a different way. So they're completely dynamic and immediately created when storing documents. In this case, the project code for me, I can see for this project, I've got contract, letters, and proposals. If I go to proposals, customer proposal, I find exactly the same document. But now I'm asking myself, there's additional documentation related to this project or related to this customer or related to this topic in general. So I want to now check this document, what other documents are related to it. So I've got 2 ways. I can either right click on the document, go to related documents to find documents by the same company name, the same contact, the same owner, or the same project. And I can find that same information here on the left-hand side of my document viewer, where of course I've got a lot of additional tools to make annotations and notes on the page, where I can simply click the link project, and DocuWare will display all of the documents that I have the rights to view related to this customer or to this project. So I can immediately see that that is the available content. All right, let's take a look at some other use cases. So currently I'm logged in as Fred. I'm going to go to my search area, and I am now once again going to look for a proposal for Flying Tom Germany. But here I've got, that is not the document I'm looking for, apologies. I'm looking for this Word document, which is a contract for Flying Tom. Now, this is a template contract that I've stored within the system. So I would like to prepare this contract for a customer, but I don't want to change the original template. I wanted to save it as a new version. Because I have the rights to edit this document, I can now edit it. And what's also very powerful is that I can edit it in Office for the web. So if there is multiple users within the organizations that's got access to this document and want to collaborate on it at the same time as I do, they can edit the document in exactly the same way. And we can at the same time view the document and the changes that we're making to the document live in front of us, which makes it very collaborative, especially on things like Excel spreadsheets or presentations that we are working on. So here's my document, and I want to maybe change the project here, and I want to, it's a new project that I'm doing for a new customer, so I'm editing the document, so project for new equipment, and I want to save this. Of course, with DocuWare, no need to save, no need to worry about it. Simply close the document because it's Office for the web, it automatically saves as well. And if I open this document again, I can see that the changes has now been applied to the document. So project for new equipment. Of course, there's been changes done to this document. So me as a user, once again, if I have the rights to do so, can check this document for any changes made to it, who interacted on the document, and of course also where it currently is in the process and what versions they are. So I can right click and view the history of this document or the version overview of this document, if I have the rights to do so. So taking a look at the version overview, I can see that this is the 3rd version also created for the document. And also if I have the rights to do so, can go to previous versions of the documents or even revert this original document to one of its previous versions, which ensures that we never lose the content if somebody made a mistake on editing the document. Right, so what else is there? Okay, what else is there? I want to now assign this document to somebody else, right? So this document, this exact document right here. If I quickly go to Peter, reset the search, just do a search, all of the documents, you can see that Peter also has access to the document. Let's quickly see if Peter can edit this document. No, he cannot, right? I need Peter to now work on this document as well. Peter has the right to see it. He can look at the document, he can see it, he can see the changes that I've made, but he cannot change anything on it. Now, I'm Fred, I'm Peter's boss, and I want Peter to work on this document as well. So what I do is I apply one of our pre-configured stamps to this document. I can assign it to him or just simply provide access to him. But by assigning it to him, I'm giving him an actual task, right? So I click on assign to. I've locked that document. I'm going to do it with a new one. Let's do it with a new one. Let's store one again. Let's store one again. Let's store this one. It is an agreement. Let's call it a consulting agreement for Flying Tom, Thomas Rain, my email address. I don't have a project code on here. I do have a date on here. There it is. And I want to, it's going to be assigned to myself. So I'm the owner. So for now, that's okay. I don't want to assign it to anybody yet. And I store this within the system. So now I'm going to just go search. There's my new document already saved within the system. I want to assign it to somebody else. And I want to say, you need to action it by tomorrow, right? This is important, very important for salespeople. You need to remind them constantly, right? Myself included. Please check, and when you can type, it works a bit as well. Please check and make required changes. And I want to give Peter the right to edit this document. Quick reminder, refresh, Peter does not have access to this document at all at the moment. And I can also see that Peter has no assigned tasks at the moment. So back to my task, I'm going to give Peter edit rights. And if I had multiple people I assigned it to, I can also say who needs to interact on the task. Everybody or anybody. In this case, it doesn't matter because there's only one person assigned to the task. And I simply apply my stamp to the page. Now, what's great about these stamps is that I have a visual history of what happened to the document. And I can very quickly see if somebody has completed their task or not completed their task without having to go into the data and understand it more clearly. What's also quite powerful is that I have not affected the original document. I've simply applied my security over the document to let people know where I am currently within the process. So I jump back to Peter. You can see that Peter already has a task, but we'll get back to that in a moment. If we refresh his view, he now has access to this agreement as well. So now we can continue working on it. And other than the contract, he can also edit the document in Office for the Web. So obviously now Peter wants to make his changes to this document as well, or maybe just review the document or whatever the case may be. So when it opens up, he says, you know what, the company name is wrong. This is Flying Tom, Germany. Does its changes, closes the document. Of course, the view automatically updated for me. I was a bit quick. Now the view updated for me, that Flying Tom is there. And of course, the version of the document also updated as per before. But though Peter has done his work, he's got to tell me that he's completed the task. Sorry guys, just want to quickly refresh my view. So he goes into the task assigned to him. Now there's already a yellow flag next to the task. Why is that? It is because we have set the reminders within the system to send me a reminder when a task is due within the next couple of days. And of course, you can set that as well. You can decide when it should be. If it was still a week away, there would be no flag. And of course, tomorrow that flag would be red, telling me that I need to complete this task by tomorrow. Of course, I can open the document up. I can view the document itself, continue editing it from here, or editing it directly from our editing pane, and now I can confirm that I've completed the task. The beauty of DocuWare workflow is that I can even add reassign tasks to the step, or even expand the workflow into other things that I would like to do with this document. Now, this is not an email, people. It's not something that could be missed. It is something that needs to be completed, and it's audited and it's tracked. And if I can tell you the number of projects that we have had in the last month where people only want that functionality, it is staggering. It is difficult to assign tasks to people within an organization and make sure that they complete it. So I can just simply say updated name and done with my task, and simply confirm this task, which will automatically apply my stamp to the page to confirm that I've confirmed my action. So back to Fred. Fred opens up the document. You can see that the task is completed by the stamp being added at the bottom of the page, and you can see that Peter has completed the task. There's one more thing that I'd like to show you, and it's actually something that I missed to show you right in the beginning because there's too many things I'm thinking about. I'd like to show you how simple it is to store an email. So I've got a couple of emails that I've received. You can see that I just sent them to myself. And here I've got a subcontractor agreement, right? This is actually our cloud white paper that I've just sent to myself. And I would like to store this document in DocuWare. What's great with DocuWare is that I can do it directly from Outlook. So it's one of those storage methods that I wanted to show you in the beginning. More powerful than that, I can actually find related information in Outlook directly to that document in DocuWare. By simply using the DocuWare button here on top, I can do things like searching directly in DocuWare from Outlook, or storing documents that I'm sending or have received. In this case, I want to store a retrieved document. I simply click on Store in DocuWare, click on Store. And the way that I've configured this is that I don't have to do another store step within DocuWare. I immediately want to store this document into DocuWare directly from the Outlook page. So the DocuWare pop-up pops up for me with the questions that it would normally ask me. In this case, I fetched a lot of information because DocuWare knows that this user is related to that company. So it's already completed that information for me. I can now just go select the document type, select the subtype, and simply store this document. Of course, I can do the messages, the project codes, and the assignments as well. In this case, I simply would like to store my document within DocuWare. And if I now go back to the system and I go to my search area, I can see that my document has been stored in DocuWare. I can see that it's an email with an attachment. I can see the attachment, and I can also see all related content to that document. These things can be excluded, which is the images on the email can automatically be excluded. So apologies, I didn't in this case. And my document actually physically attached. Right, guys, that was my demo on DocuWare. And if I now jump to my correct slide, I now have some time for questions.